Blessed are the poor in spirit, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the humble, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. You are blessed when they insult you and persecute you and falsely say every kind of evil against you because of me. Be glad and rejoice, because your reward is great in heaven, for that is how they persecuted the prophets who were before you.
Hey everyone, we want to welcome you to our 6th installment of the video series, The Beatitudes, where we are searching for Christ's answer to true happiness. Last week, we talked about how the mercy of God leads us to become merciful and happy people. This week, we will learn what it means to be pure in the eyes of God. And once we become pure in the eyes of God, we will be happy because we will be able to see God. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. What comes to mind when you think about purity? Out of all the Beatitudes that we've discussed so far, blessed are the pure in heart may be the most difficult for most people to understand. People either don't concern themselves with being pure, or they don't understand what it means. But Jesus' original audience didn't have that problem. To a Jewish person, purity extended far beyond sexual purity. In this beatitude, Jesus was referring to the kind of purity that God possesses. So Jesus' audience knew the only way to see God was in the temple, in the Shekinah glory, in the Holy of Holies. Only the high priest could enter once a year to see the purest version of God. So the priest had to be the purest version of himself. He would be required to have a perfect ritual purity and cleanliness. Jesus' original audience would have known that no one could have seen God and lived. But that's where God stepped in. The eternal Son of God clothed himself in humanity so that we could see him. We observed his glory, the glory of the one and only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. Though Jesus was an exact representation of all God is, Jesus, the Messiah, came as a bearer of the new covenant. He wants to go beyond external purity and cleanliness to something deeper. The eternal Son of God came to stand in our stead at every single level of our existence because we're impure, and he came to be our purity. He purifies our hearts and connects our new hearts to the Father's hearts. All that he is, we are. He becomes like us, so we become like him. And when this happens, we are able to see God for who he is. We are able to enjoy the good life. A story that comes to mind is taken from John 8. In this section of scripture, we find the story of a woman caught in adultery who was brought to Jesus in the temple complex. From this encounter, we see how God addressed our sin and replaced it with purity. And in this section, the men who brought her and questioned Jesus did not have good intentions. They only wanted to shame and disgrace the woman. But Jesus' response allows us to see the grace of God. The one without sin among you should be the first to throw a stone at her. All her accusers left. What Jesus does next is extraordinary. Has no one condemned you? No one, Lord. Well, neither do I. Go from now on and sin no more. Now that's grace. None of us can stand in the light of God's holiness. Not the woman caught in adultery, not the oppressive religious leaders, not those who picked up stones to harm her, not even you or me. But when we're on the ground, we can look to Jesus to pick us up and bring us to God. He didn't condemn this woman, and he doesn't condemn those who look to him in faith. This means that purity is a clean conscience and a sincere mind which focuses on him. Those who are pure in heart are authentically righteous in their inner person. Righteousness cannot be faked, as was the case with the Pharisees. So purity is what God grants to someone who hungers and thirsts to be honest, trustworthy, faithful, and loyal. When we are pure, we have the ability to see God. What a promise! We will see God. Now, this is not meant to be an interpretation of figuratively experiencing some insight into the nature of God. You will literally behold God in all his glory. Yes, this is a future promise, but it is also for the present. When you are pure in heart, you will witness God at work in the here and now. You will feel his presence even amid present trials and temptations. We want to thank you so much for tuning in with us tonight. Don't forget that after this video at 7:15, over on Instagram, we're going to have an Instagram Live where we can have some discussion questions. If you have questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section on Instagram Live, or you can send them to our New Life Student Ministry Snapchat. We want to continue to encourage you and let you know that as you continue to strive to look for the true happiness that Jesus offers you, we ask you to seek His kingdom first, and we ask you to continue to be pure at heart. For blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. We hope that you have a great week. Take care.